I'll tell you. I had a boy.
Oh, now you gonna preach to me, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna preach. And you gonna listen!
All right. We are live and direct. We're going to keep the boring train rolling this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you at, where you stand. Where are you right now? Me? Well, I'm on a small blue planet somewhere in the second median of the galaxy called Milky Way, orbiting a yellow dwarf main sequence star right about now. So with those directions, you should be able to find me and zero in. All right, what's happening? That's basically all I got to say. What's happening? Impromptu live, man. It's so impromptu. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. I just came down here and decided to put it down and, give y'all some place to tune in somewhere, and so that way you'll have something to do, So welcome to everybody that's here. I cannot see you. I'm flying blind and solo. We are on autopilot. Don't know if anyone showed up yet, but you might, because see, this is we got to do this boring thing. We got to come on here and we got to talk about the mundane and keep it going, man. So let's just dive right in. Let me see, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Well, it seems like Orange Julius done got himself into a small war. Now, he said it ain't a war, it's more like a misunderstanding or something. And then he said, like, it's over. But then he said it ain't over. And he said, yo, where my allies at? Where you at, France? Where you at, Canada? Y'all just gonna leave me hanging out here like this, blowing in the wind? And then he forgot that he told them to kiss his entire, you know what, like 6-7 months ago. So looks like he's all by him lonesome in this thing. But fear not, because he called up the girl Condoleezza and told her, actually, she made a comment about one of them kind of what I would do if I was in this type of sort of situation. And so he said, damn, she was smart. She got a very, very big brain. You know what I mean? Sexy brain. Condi do. So he told her, I heard they reaching out to her to come bail them out from the situation. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if she gonna come. If I was her, I wouldn't get mixed up in that type of nonsense. You know what I mean? Getting all in the middle of what they doing and what they got going on. Definitely not. But she would be the one that probably could, figure some way out of this. Now, she did tell you that well, basically, you know how it is. Her commentary surrounded her making almost like complimenting what he was doing, saying like, yeah, this thing they probably would have needed to be checked at some point because the job was undone. But he didn't calculate the toll that it would take and the money that it would cost and the support you would need. See, his base got him gassed up on they believe that every time the man say something out his mouth, it just manifests and become true because he said so. Yolanda, welcome, Yolanda. Thank you for coming here with me because I was talking to myself for a minute. So they believe that he got some kind of magical power that no matter what he say, it just, boop, it just happened. It comes into existence when he say it. Unfortunately, for those of us that live in this reality, we know that not to be true. Because the man said on day one, I'm going to stop that war in the Ukraine over there. On day one, I'm going to bring down all the prices. Everything going to be so low that y'all going to practically get it for free. Just like the crackheads do when they be up in Walgreens and you be like, damn, she filled up her bag and just walked out, but I had to pay $42.50. Yeah, he said he was going to bring down them drug prices 400%. Now, if any of y'all know basic math, you probably would recognize that to take something down less. Oh, you can't hear me? You said sound. Welcome, Make a Change. Welcome, Derek C. Williams. My brother came through. You know what I mean? And also, Fufu Murphy is here herself. How's Eddie doing? You know? Oh, yeah, all right. It's just YM. You know YM got that raggedy ass run a set of laptop. You know, she be out here with her MacBook. Anyway, so the man say he was going to drop that joint down 400%. Now, like I said, those of you that can do basic math will understand that 400%, which means if you bought something that costs $50, they would have to give you $150 to take it out the stove, right? So where's this man? Who is leading us? You know what I mean? So anyway, she says a raggedy MacBook. Mrs. Murphy, we just talking about anything. I'm gonna tell you something. I turned this mic on. I did not have a clue what I was going to talk about. I was going to let it rip. Why y'all think I dropped that link so early? You know what I mean? So I won't be up here, up here on the tightrope walking by myself, for too long. Did I drop the link at all? I don't know. I thought I did. I don't know. Let me click that again. So anyway, so now he over there with his ass blowing in the wind. And then the Iranians say, nah, you ain't anybody try to bring some oil through our hood, you gonna get dealt with. Now, they done blew up a couple of little things. They done, mess with some Thailand people on they boat, they over there wreaking havoc. And the price of the barrel done doubled out here. Now, the only people seem to be benefiting from this is Mr. Putin. Mr. Putin is, he getting more money for his barrels, if you from DC, barrels. He getting more money for his barrels, and now he can fund more of his attacks on the Ukraine. Funny how that worked. So, I don't know about you, but something else came to mind. I thought he said 2 months ago that they had sent over some bombs to the Iran people and that they had took out their nuclear stuff and that it was all good at this point. Well, I guess that just wasn't so. Because here we are back there again, and a special shout out in all seriousness to the veterans that were serving that lost their lives. This is tragic, especially, the ones with the younger kids, man. It's not easy. The one veteran brother with the 7-month-old twins, man. I can't even imagine that. But like I said, y'all, here we are. How did we get here? You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you something. Now, you hear me talk about the veteran bros a whole lot. I put up a post. It was actually a quote from a senator. And she was talking about, man, I hated the way, the GOP come in, whatever, the Dems leave a little surplus. It's all this money. Everything's kind of on track. The GOP comes in, crash the economy. They crash the economy. Then suddenly, they will kick up a war somewhere, just throw everything into shambles while robbing and pillaging and filling their pockets. Now, one of the veteran brothers decided to say, why don't you go live in Iraq if you don't like it here? You're free to go. Now, I don't know if he was referring to the lady I posted or referring to me. I put a heart on the post and I have yet to respond because why? I didn't want to be all overly emotional like some people do, especially on, at BlackTube. You get all overly emotional. You want to react to something within 10 seconds without thinking it through. Now, when I do finally address it, I'm going to go back. I'm not going to kick him off. I was like, unfriend him, do this, do that. Let me tell you something. Me and the rest of the veteran brothers, none of us share the same opinion or outlook on anything. Sometimes it gets racial and, it gets a little heated between us, but I respect everybody else's opinion on what they think and what they believe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to do that. I would never tell him. Now, mind you, when we was in there together, he used to make little jokes and stuff, like his grandfather burning black people. I mean, he was, we all knew he was a knucklehead, right? And what have you. But I feel like I'm not going to have no exchange right away and go to chopping his head off over this. Because I understand now he was over there. He was in combat. I understand all of that. Because one of my other brothers said something to him. And then he was like, you ain't never, I said this on the last slide, but you ain't never been in combat. Like being in combat means your opinion holds more weight than the next one. Welcome, Teresa. Welcome. And welcome, Miss Lorna Doone Williams. Welcome. So, this guy's like politically charged. I say he's drinking the Kool-Aid. That whole thing where, well, let's be real. I used to think that, well, we're following the orders of the commander in chief, so no matter what he say, we got to get behind that. But we all see when Obama was in there, they was not all behind that. They was in direct opposition to everything he did. Like, they would always, it's funny, they would throw up in my face and say, what about, like, every time we talk about something, they'll say, what about Obama? What about Benghazi? Benghazi. They would throw that out there, as if to say, somehow he caused this attack on Benghazi. He didn't get the people out because Hillary didn't pick up the phone, whatever stupidity, right? But see, the funny thing I always learned is whenever you talking to folks, right, especially people that do these one-liners, they don't read news cycles. They don't follow politics. They don't know anything other than what's going on Instagram or TikTok, or they tend to believe everything on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, which is full of these one-sentence memes, and they think they got it all. But see, what they forget is that the reason why Benghazi fell the way that it did is because 6 months beforehand, the Republican senators defunded the security for the place. But somehow it's the brothers' fault that the place fell down. You understand what I'm saying? See, what they do is they will make a change, and no pun intended. They will make a change. Welcome, keeping it plain. Welcome. Okay, Kip's in the house. So they will make a change in one part of something and not calculate the effects of it somewhere else, which is why the people that are in charge now, because they got all these WrestleMania CEOs and bartenders and models and these people that don't have a clue on how to, and a podcaster running the feds, the FBI, they have no clue of the inner workings of these organizations. Matter of fact, when they came in this time, they literally gutted the government through something they were calling, what was that? What was the term they used for Doge? Waste and fraud. Okay. And they've done nothing but a ton of waste and fraud. See $200 infomercial. Waste and fraud. Your tax dollars hard at work. Now, I stand with my president. See, Kip, see that right there? That's a brother that's looking for attention for himself. That's the brother at the club with that rhinestone blazer on, right? Just, loud with the gold fronts in his mouth that don't fit, just drawing all the attention to themselves. How do you know a black Republican? Oh, you ain't got to worry. Give them about 10 seconds. They're going to announce that they are a black Republican. You understand? So anyway, now I'm just joking. Again, I respect all positions. And if that's his president, that's his president. Again, I know for a fact I don't even go back and forth with that. This how I get down, right? I don't care if it's a monkey in the White House running things. I look at it like, how is the economy going? But see, so when I go to the supermarket, depending on how light my wallet is versus what's in my cart, that's what I base life on. That's the things I can deal with. See, I don't care about whose wife did what, how much pancake makeup the man got on and the oinch and all of that he got on. That don't matter to me. If you do a good job, you do a good job, no doubt. See, I don't get into that. See, my veteran brother, he decided because I disagreed with the cycle of things, and I co-signed that senator because it's true, every time there's a surplus, here we go, But the thing is with this particular man, like I said, day one, I'm gonna snap my fingers and magically price is going to drop. You understand? No more foreign wars. America first. God damn it, America first. And as you can see, America been first, all right, a first to be ignored. You know what I mean? Man come to power, get about $4 billion richer, start building ballrooms and crap, and we're off to the races. And here we are in this war. Now, I want to talk to you about that because he said some things like, hey y'all, my bad. It's a lot of Iranian sleeper cells that might be in America. So, when you start your car, just, put your hand on the hood, make sure it ain't warm first. I mean, just craziness, Somebody, they done already hit, did some cyber attacks on some medical things over here, So like I said, the folks is pissed off. Now, we talked about this in the past. Like a lot of us sit over here and we say, why why would these people put on bombs and blow themselves up? And why are they doing this? They're all crazy. And then they tell you it's got to do with the religion of Islam, and they slander Islam. And then basically they play on you, they tap dance on your emotions. They tell you, oh, God bless America, and we're a Christian nation, which this is not a Judeo-Christian nation, by the way, y'all. That is not in the original charter. Never was. I wish they stopped saying that. It's not. But they say that, of course, to get you all emotional. So now, 9/11, whatever, you don't like people that practice Islam for some reason. And when I said, until recent years, y'all have not witnessed the atrocities that are being done to people in the name of commerce globally. See, you over here comfortable. You slept in a warm bed last night. You woke up, got your milk and your cereal, your crunch berries, and you sat there watching something you were binging, I don't know, some show from the 90s, and you were quite content in where you were. See, you didn't send your daughter off to school, and then all of a sudden the building was gone, 2 hours later, and then they blamed you for the school being gone, blaming it on your country. So see, you got to understand, when your daughter gone and your mama gone and your daddy get gone and one fell swoop because some other sovereign power decides it just wants to eradicate something, and it does it, which, by the way, sets a horrible precedent, right? What you think the son going to do? Now, like I said, what I say, they change one thing, you end up with something else. So due to the regime change, now you got Junior is in power, and he's highly pissed off that you took his daddy out of here. So what you think he going to do? He going to take everything within his power and go to the extreme. Bada boom, bada bing. Emphasis on the boom. So y'all get ready. You know what I mean? We over here comfortable. We're far away. A lot of times we can't be reached because it's this big ass ocean in between, and we got an ocean on this side of these oceans. And, for you to move an armada of ships or an army this far of a distance is a problem. Hey, y'all, let me ask y'all a question. Remember all them drones that was floating around? And they was like, oh, we're going to tell y'all what it is, and it's going to be a study, and don't shoot at them, and it's in New Jersey, and they're over military installations and all. Whatever happened to them drones? And since Main Man like to talk a lot about what he can do in one day, why when he came in, he didn't tell us what they was? You got things as big as a car flying around and nobody knows, on your soil, in your airspace. I hope that those were some aliens and they was coming down here with some peace talks or something, like in that movie. If not, Houston, we might have a problem, because for the first time, something, there's a threat, they need to talk about. But anyway, this ain't no conspiracy. I just, you know me, I'm just asking questions. If somebody got an answer, even if it's a conspiracy, I'll listen to it. If you got an answer, but I'm just wondering, like, what's happening? Name of the show, what's happening? You know what I mean? So here we are, my man throw all that bullying and puffing his chest, and we the biggest and the baddest. You know what I mean? I could put 50% tariffs on everybody. And by the way, the conflict is completely illegal. It wasn't sanctioned by any congressional body. Man, just doing what he want, running rampant and ignoring judicial orders. I mean, this is as close to anarchy as you've ever gotten. I don't know about y'all, but these are the things that keep me up at night. Last time I filled up, gas was $3.89. Today I got some gas. I could hardly find anything below $6. I filled up. I didn't even look at the tank. I hope that it wasn't that. Different opinions are welcome here. I'm sorry, I'm just segueing to these comments while I babble along. It might sound crazy, but there are facts behind the madness. Propaganda. Okay. Democrats stole the election in 2020. They stole it. Man, that's funny. Well, after hundreds of lawsuits and judicial reviews and all of these other things, it was found out that was not true. Good one-liner though. Stole the election. Oh, you know what's funny though? Isn't it funny how the election was stolen at the loss, but this time when there was a win, there was no. Why aren't we doing all the investigations? Isn't it the same voting system in 2020 that we had in 2020 4 in that same voting system? Why aren't we investigating that? Why aren't we investigating anything? Why are these people sending you into a full-on conflict, right? Just to create a distraction from them fouls, which is more of ignoring judicial orders, sending out files, redacting the people that were the perpetrators and unredacting the victims' names to bring shame or to cause problem. Ladies, stand tall. Don't let that scare you. Stand tall. It's 360. I'm not knowing what it is in other places. All right. So, it's a lot. And I don't know about you. I ain't forget about the fouls. I'm all on that. Welcome, Josephine with the green. Josie the Pussycat stopped through. No doubt. All right. So I don't know. All I know is we have a lot of incompetence at the top. We sitting here. Uh-oh. Hold up, man. I ain't using no banner. Hold on. Yo.
What's going on, T.M.K?
Oh, it's him. What's happening? Snitching?
Not a lot. Yeah, no.
My
Not a
man.
lot.
Hey, man, I got a new job and you don't know where this one is. Don't even try. Don't
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
When I went through HR, I already told him, I said, this man, if he hit y'all up, you already know. He on some medication.
Don't worry about it. I eventually find you anyway, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I know you will. I know you got help from your recon team. Yeah,
oh yeah, no doubt,
I'm just
doubt.
kidding, y'all. It's the boring sector here. We don't dox in the boring sector. There's no such thing as doxing. It's a hope. It doesn't happen. And over here, we're not afraid. You know why? Because we ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got nothing to lose. We just speak our mind and we don't hurt people's feelings. We don't even get personal. We don't drop names over here. We just do what we do. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so no doubt. And y'all know I don't usually get political or anything like that. It's just, hey, honestly, I'm gonna say the last thing and you say whatever you got to say. I would like to get, matter of fact, since we in the boring sector, I wish we was in a boring government. I mean, one that's so boring, don't nothing happen. It ain't never on TV. Oh my God, back in the days. Can we get that back?
We wouldn't be a leader today if we went like that. We wouldn't be a leader today. So we got to keep the peace. It's just the position that the country have taken, and it's been like this for a while. So that's the banner that they have laid. That's the banner they have laid down. So they stand up to that. But I stand with my president, like I stand with all presidents. Doesn't mean that I agree with everything that they do, but I stand in solidarity with the country. So I'm an American and a proud American. So that's what I'm with that. But anyway, to piggyback on what I said about they stole the election, Trump is breaking it down right now here in the state of Georgia that they stole the state of Georgia from him. So he got the Democrats got them running wild out here, man. So just be on the lookout for that. Him breaking that down and bringing that to the public, showing that they actually stole the state from him. So.
Oh, really?
Yep. He's breaking it down. Yeah.
I thought he called up and ordered 11,000 more votes. I mean, the order ain't come through. The Amazon truck broke down. what happened? I ordered 11,000 when he made the phone call.
T.M.K, I used to be just like you. I used to think, man, this is wild. This is crazy, man. But man, I'm telling you, he's got them running out here, man. He's making them pay. He's making them pay for what they try to do to him. Real shit. So we'll wait and see, man. We'll see how this thing unfold. But he got him on the heels here in Georgia, man, about them stealing the state from him in 2020, and he's proving it. Yeah.
I don't know the proof, but
all right, it's just a wait and see thing. We'll see it. We'll see how this thing rock and see how it unfold, and we'll go from there. Just a little bit more commentary that we can talk about probably later on in the future. So
yeah, I'm all about math and science. Like I said, if there's a fact to cover or bring forth, I'm that. Now, I'm a heavy proponent of us being a thinking people and us
Yeah, of
Because a
course.
lot of times and I don't get in a lot of these type conversations. You never hear me doing any content on it because
Facts, facts,
like
facts,
I
facts,
already
facts.
know what somebody's gonna say. Most of us have been dumbed down to the point where we just yell out slogans without
Yeah.
facts, and we just it's like it's just you're talking to a brick wall with a lot of folks. And it's funny because I like when the commentators go up to people on the street and they'll ask them a question about something they don't know. But now, like I said, when you're a farmer in Nebraska, hey, you the one with you got piles of soybeans just rotting away in storage. I mean, it ain't no way you can beat bull jive your way out of that. You know that it ain't selling, and you know why. We saw the money go to Argentina. We saw they got to bail out and sold their crops to China. I mean, these are things people are finding out. They need to be more politically informed. Now, I'm not on here to, it's me. I was making light of it earlier. I was just kind of talking and a
Yeah, I
joking
know you were.
fashion about
Yeah, I
things,
know you were.
because yeah, I don't take it all that serious, but I be like, I say it just to say it. Like, really, I believe in like educating folks and doing it in a way where it's palatable. Like I'm not gonna come on here and be all stiff arm, all stiff neck with a tie on, and talking like and today and then they were this. Because see, honestly, I'm gonna tell you a secret, man. I get tired of that on my YouTube feed. Like all day, I hear all these people yelling at Mike. He did this, and then he did that, and he put some makeup on his hand, and he did this, and I'm like, hey, with all of this steam you blowing, can you tell us where to meet up at so we can organize and get some things in motion? Instead
Yeah,
of sitting
facts.
here, because I look at it like they are excellent at gaslighting the American people. Like I said, the formula is always keep people angry. You got to be angry at somebody, angry at the Mexicans, angry at this person, angry at the next person, and they keep you off balance with that. And I said, okay, so now that we've defined the problem, where are we going to rally at? Where are we going to meet at? Who's going to order the signs? Are we going to Pennsylvania Avenue? We're going to be on K Street Southwest. Where are we going to be at? Because I keep turning on, and he did this. And then they're using these clickbait titles. Judiciary drops bomb on, 47. Or this just in, 47 was devastated. And I'm like, yo, can you stop with the clickbait? I don't want to hear nothing. What I want to hear is, and right now the Dems are completely silent. Like, where y'all at? Why are you so quiet? Like, you're not saying, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna regroup. And in these midterms, this is what's gonna happen. Once I keep asking the question. So when you get back the House and the Senate, what you gonna do? What's the first thing you're gonna do? Because I seen you last time when you said, "Oh, y'all gotta vote. We gotta end this madness," and they drug their feet for like 2 years. Oh, what we gotta do a committee. Oh, we gotta study. Oh, we gotta see what's
Yeah,
that head the FBI guy. We gotta see what he say when he go to trial. Big ass
yeah,
Elfenberger. He got out of trial. He resigned. Went home. It took a whole insurrection for you to finally say, "All right, enough is enough," which proved one thing to me: these corporate Dems, you are bought and paid for. You take super PAC money, you are
facts.
owned. It's two each side of the aisle, two wings of the same dirty bird. That's why I tell folks, it's time for y'all to get a little more, involved with the process and tell these people, hey, look, man, you take that corporate money. You not get. I will vote, man. I tell people I will go to the poll and I will pull every lever or every name I never heard before. And if we all did it, we just flush the toilet and be rid of you all. You know what I mean? So either start doing right by us or get the hell on. Welcome into the stage. Y'all know the Sunny Bunny herself because she brings sunshine and cheer, and she gives everyone a puppy when she leaves the panel. Welcome, my opinion, Teresa May.
Well, thank you, Bomb Buddy. How are you today?
Well, I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm keeping the boring thing rolling. It's not really boring, but I'm keeping the boring thing alive. Keep boring alive. Keep boring alive. Jesse Jackson said that.
And you know I got it noted. But my question is to those who voted for the current administration, with all things going on and the proof that's in there with the things they have done to children and those covering up the things they have done to children. What point will those who voted for him understand that it ain't just about policies and and administrations and Democrat and Republicans. There's other things going on that this United States is being run by another state because of those Epstein files are being used to get what they need done. Like they swept through Europe and how they're doing here and in Africa. So it just baffles me after everything that's out here, all the things that out here that is out here. I'm getting a little tight that we are still not having conversations or we're still defending this type of administration where it's got us all still living in the same oppression, just covered up with the hair bows. Thank you for your time. That was it.
Okay. Oh snap, red bones here. Oh snap, first time I got the red bone in the house.
Okay, darling, I'll see you later. So that I'm just curious about that with all the
Okay.
evidence that's out there, what makes them still keep, um, up in this administration.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Okay. All
Um,
right, thanks.
Yeah,
okay, no
yeah,
doubt.
uh,
No doubt.
yeah. I mean, if you do the crime, you do the time. I don't know what's in those. I don't know what's in those what the guy name is. Epstein files. I don't know what's in those Epstein files. Whatever's there, let them bring it out, and they put it out there and talk about, discuss it. Who all guilty of that? They guilty of it. It's just that simple. Don't care who it is.
No
That's the way
doubt.
I look at it. That's the way I look at it. It is what it is.
No
But
diggity.
in the meantime, in between time, we still have a country to run here. So we still have to run this country.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of, it's what we all knew, what I mean, with these files. The thing is, they can try to suppress, compress, de-stress, or regress. But at the end of the day, we still have these victims, that are speaking out. Somebody got hurt somewhere. Now, what's
yeah,
sad is
yeah.
you and I know, because it's funny, we would back in the day, we always talk about the Illuminati. I'm like, man, ain't no Illuminati, no such thing.
Oh, stop,
It's
stop right there.
yeah.
Stop right there. No, I never believed in that shit. So go ahead.
It's no such thing as Illuminati. Basically, I'm gonna break it down. Ain't there's no passing couch in Hollywood. Look, check this out. It's just people with a lot of money that can do what they want, and it's some
Facts.
people with a whole lot of money that can do whatever the hell they want. You understand? So if they want to
That's right.
have an island, if they want to import people and have white slavery and all this other stuff going on, they doing what they want to do. That's the bottom line. See,
Facts.
like I said, y'all, when we down
Facts.
here, right? This is why we in the boring sector. When we down here bickering and going back and forth and talking about some narratives from 8 years ago and all this, the world is still going on. It's still happening.
Thank
It's
you.
still going
Thank
on.
you, sir.
These evils are nothing new. These clubs have existed since there was something called money. Once somebody figured out they could dupe all of the common people out of their money, convince us to go to work. Well, first of all, convince us to live on Earth, Earth. Convince us to live on Earth and turn a part of it to grow our own food, and then convince us that somehow we got to pay a tax for living on something we was born that sprung forth out of. That's number one. That's the hustle. Then on top of that, if I take what I own, I got more than what I need for my family, and I sell it. Then in 1913, they decided that any coins I get from selling what I grew on my land that I got to pay you for indefinitely, that somehow I got to give you a part of that too, man. And meanwhile, somebody's reaping the benefits a lot more than what the common man is. By the
Absolutely.
way, the common man is you that can't afford your prescription.
Absolutely.
Even though all of your tax dollars, 800 billion of it went to the research of this new drug, and everybody around the world is paying $4.92 for it, but you got to pay $80 a pill for it. See, these are questions that I like to ask. That whenever what's that lady called Pocahontas? Whenever she got the big pharma people on the stand frying their ass, they can't answer the questions. I mean, she asked some stuff like that. They and now they dangling the idea, talking we're gonna bring drug prices. No, you know how. How you gonna bring gun prices down when big pharma collectively just put in 1.8 trillion into campaign funding?
That's true.
What you gonna do with that little $18 you sent in on the Facebook ad to your candidate and that one little vote you put in? What you going who they listening to? So like I said, you gotta talk about a serious overhaul of this entire system. You know what I mean? So that takes organization. So all of this stuff, especially, you know, us as black people, you know, I was like, well, you got a black leader. Why? We don't need a black leader. We need black organizers. I don't need somebody standing in the front getting a paycheck from Sharpton, from a paycheck, Jesse, from ABC, NBC, and everywhere else. You understand what I'm saying? They getting a check to keep the Negroes in line. Meanwhile, same rhetoric. You got the government that'll dupe you, put you to sleep with all this telling you which groups of people to hate. Then you got your own leaders from your own community telling you that it's some ghost white man doing something, and we gotta beat him. So I'm gonna need you to send in 1999. We gonna beat him. I'm like, come on, man.
The old white man rhetoric is.
I want
that's the boogeyman. That's the boogeyman right there.
we call that hate the white man school. You know, they say, you remember in the 90s, you know, it's like you'd hate the white man school. Every group, they got me too. I was in all the groups, you know, I was in all the Muslim groups, I was in all of them.
Yeah.
Islam, I was in all of them. You know, it's like you gotta hate the man, and then it's like, and then there's always you gonna rise to power at some point. Is some spaceships gonna come from outer space and they gods?
Oh yeah,
the gods are black and they. Man, let me tell you something. Boy, I am thankful. I am thankful for every dollar I gave. I gave all them books to my homeboy. He's still talking about, yo, I heard about. I say, boy, Dr. York got 100 and a million years in jail. What are you talking about? That man ain't getting out. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
You know, forget, and that was another thing, you know, with all the kids and stuff that got hurt and all that. And
yeah, now that's the sad part about it.
Man, I'm sitting around, man. Doc said, I said, yo, bro, it's a hustle. I'm thankful to all of them for teaching me how not to get duped. That's why when the new wave, the Polites and all these other people came out, I'm sitting there going, man, they're using the same rhetoric. And they can only if you ignorant, telling you, man, come on, man, a man patting you on the head telling you was some god in another country or from outer space and y'all had all this technology and y'all was kings and all this other stuff. You know, patting you on the head, but then it's always at the, you know, get your hand out my pocket. You always want some money out of me. Telling me I'm walking around, you around at work puffing your chest out at the water cooler because somebody done told you was a god somewhere. Now, I'm gonna tell you, bruh, I'm gonna tell you. Now I ain't saying that you weren't more than what you were, but shit, yo, let's stop that for a second. Let's go back 500 years. First of all, this just in, newsflash, you black folks been on this continent just as long as anybody. Newsflash, the whole thing you got off some boat. Okay, now, let me stop. They're gonna say you sound like that Dane boy. Now, there were boats bringing people over here from the continent. No, that's a fact. That happened. But what I'm saying is there was a majority of us was already right here. But that's beside the point. Let's go back. Matter of fact, hell, let's just go back 350 years. Man, we done created language, music, culture, art, style. I mean, the inventions. Oh my God, technology. Bro, you the gods now. You ain't gotta go back 12,000 years ago. You the gods right now. Look at you. Everybody's imitating you. Want to be your cultures all over the world. Now, some of the folks in charge have figured out how to harness, you know, your creativity, and they made a whole lot of money off of it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm talking to the gods right now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go back 10,000 years. You wonderful. You're glorious right now. And can't no bum ass ninja from Brooklyn, you understand, that's fresh out of jail, tell you about anything. And I already told you how to recognize the grifter. The grifter always got the same things in common. The grifter always is an ex-con, change their name more than once. They always got dark sunglasses on when they preaching. Hey, I fit 2 out of the 3. They got dark sunglasses on when they preaching, and they always take you to the hate the white man school, and then they
all day.
always need your money because you're a sovereign citizen of the United States and you are not under the Constitution and you ain't going to jail for no
Yep.
crime. But notice, the one that told you could levitate and walk through cell bars if you was in tune is in jail for 135 years. And the one that sold you the kit for the low price of $99.99 that you could be a sovereign citizen is sitting his black ass up in jail right now, both of them for the same reason. Little girls and the privacy.
That's sad.
They sitting up in there. Like I said, y'all stop listening to people. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's cool to turn this on for entertainment, to watch the Negro buck dance and get you all hyped up. Next thing you know, he's sitting out in L.A. driving a T-Rex with somebody, Pontiac Trans Am in the passenger seat. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, and then you see him at the party with the women's from the other side. You know what I mean? So it's
Absolutely.
the same rhetoric. But if you in 2026 in the late mid 21st century still falling for this type of rhetoric and okey doke, because y'all know I came from the what you call the unconscious sector. I done came from that. You know what I mean? So yeah,
but
young
minds.
Exactly.
Young minds are impressionable, man. So we was that age before. So, and we took a slice of the pie and ate some of it, or drank some of the Kool-Aid, as they would say. And hey, we had to wake up, man. You had to wake up. So that's why they can't. That's why they don't target the old coons like you and I.
Yeah, no doubt.
They going at the young bulls. So you know how that go.
You see, they changed up. They don't do the prosperity doctrine. The preachers are switching up, talking about, no, we not, Creflo and them talking about, we know that's not right, and that wasn't, of course, because young people ain't falling for that. Yo, this new generation, man, you're lucky if they believe anything you say. They definitely ain't believing no ghosts. You know what I mean?
No.
Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. Y'all know her. She don't win no damn trials. She can't.
Not at all.
She can't be, man. She can have, man, all the evidence, videotape, today's newspaper, you holding up a driver's license in front of a TV while talking to the vice president, and this wench will still lose your trial, and you'll be caught up in the murder. Welcome to the stage.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
He's the silver-throated, vested one, Steph.
Hey.
Miss Cotton.
Hey. No, I just hit the link because you're talking about the sovereign citizen kits.
Yeah,
I've had quite a few clients, and mostly white people. Let's be real, mostly white people. Mostly, they have a very strong streak of racism, either explicitly or implicitly. And a lot of them in the old days came out of the Christian identity movement, so it was mostly, it was very explicit. But yeah, I've had a lot. I've had very tense discussions with clients who are sovereign citizens about, basically I have to tell them, like, in the end, like, I understand your position that you think that the government is applying the law incorrectly. I understand that you think that that you know the law better than them, and they are actually wrong. The law is supposed to mean something else than the way they're applying it. But they have the police, who have the guns, and they have the ability to place you in prison based on their interpretation of the law, and not yours, unfortunately. So you have to basically explain to them, not that I want any of that to happen to them, but might makes right in this country. All over the world it does. I mean, that's sort of the basis of the nation state, right? Is a monopoly on power. And so they have to have a very harsh, but most of them don't believe it. Most of them think that they're going to be able to submit some sort of motion or say some magic words, and then all of a sudden the truth is going to come out. They're going to be treated exactly how they want to be. It's never worked, but it's sort of this, and it can continue. I know a guy here in Austin who refuses to get a driver's license because he's a traveler. He's not engaged in commerce, so he doesn't need one. And he's been tried for driving without a license upwards of 10 times. He doesn't care. He's gone to jail for it. He's appealed it. He's gotten turned down every time. But dude is convinced that he does not need a driver's license and the government is wrong. And someday he's going to prove it to him, come hell or high water. And so what are you going to do?
Wow.
And the ones that the sovereign citizens that show up in the legal system, I've represented like one more, and she kind of had the same sort of ideas, but most of them are white people, and they're like I said, they're like they were Branch Davidian militia types back in the '90s, and this is kind of where they ended up.
Wow. I will admit, I don't know anything about that sovereign stuff, but I do know the brother is behind bars. I guess his kit didn't work. He should have got the $199 kit. Maybe he would be sitting in there now. You know what I mean? But he's in there though.
Yeah, but in certain states, it does state that you can be the only way. The only time they expect you to have driver's license if you're doing commercial. But if you just traveling, no, you don't need it. But
that's the theory.
They still put you through the ringer with that. They still will arrest you. They still will take you to jail. They will still make you spend money, and they try to break your will with that. I'm telling you, I know. I was recording the cops one day. I had a mask on. The guy came up to me with an ordinance saying, you have that mask on, I'm going to take you to jail for having that mask on. You take that mask off, I'm going to arrest you on the spot. Yeah.
Wow. So was this during COVID or not during COVID?
I don't understand, but I was here in the state of Georgia when I was just recording the cops and told them to take the mask off.
Well, was it during COVID and you had a mask on because of COVID, or was it like a different time? Okay, got you.
No.
Okay.
No, it was cold outside.
I see. Okay. Is there a law? Because there's a law here that says you can't cover your face if you're engaged in like First Amendment activities, which is completely wrong. They shouldn't have that law, but they do. And I know they've enforced it a couple of times at protests, which is total bullshit.
I go. I didn't feel like arguing with him on the side of the road. Neither did I feel like going to jail that day. So I told him I'd deal with that later on. But it was cold outside. It was like a hockey mask, whatever you call them thing. I put it all over my face, and because it was cold out there. So, but he wanted me to take that off.
Yeah, that ain't right.
So
that ain't right. Yeah.
So it get kind of sticky sometimes. So it's just up to you if you want to go fight it, and but to understand there's always consequences behind that. So yeah, it take you to jail. So, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. Back in the late '80s and '90s, when my dad first started working for the Treasury, they were trying to break these like Christian identity groups, and they couldn't figure out a way to do it because they were really posing a threat, and they were basically at the level of domestic terrorists. And we lived through the Oklahoma City bombing. There was the Waco. They were sort of fomenting around Waco because they were so angry about what happened there, and so they wanted to. The government, for better or worse, they wanted to, basically find a way to. They couldn't get him on the terrorism stuff yet because it was still sort of in the works, so they couldn't really get any evidence on them. But what they could do was they were selling essentially these kits on how to evade your taxes, on how to basically not pay your taxes, right? Because of some theories about bank accounts that the Social Security Administration is holding. Your what do they call that? Your straw account or whatever. And so they were telling people not to pay their taxes, and they were selling these kits. But they would have these little meetings, little metal chairs in a circle type shit, and all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. So they needed somebody who kind of fit the profile of like a sort of low education Southern guy with a heavy accent. And so, because except for the low education, like my dad kind of fit that profile, right? So he went undercover into these meetings and and they sold him these kids, right? And so because they had done that, they got him on basically conspiracy to evade taxes. And basically a conspiracy to engage others in the practice of evading taxes. But really, it was sort of it's like that whole thing, like the IRS. You bring in the IRS to get them on taxes when you can't get them on anything else. And so it was like these people were very and then we end up seeing what happened when like they basically they bombed this building in Oklahoma City, but they were dangerous people, and so like bunch of Christian identity people went to prison because my dad was undercover as a dumb electrician from Arkansas. You can believe that. Yeah.
What do y'all think? Okay, so in Virginia, they just had a vote. I believe it passed both chambers on reforming gun laws. So now assault rifles are banned. High capacity clips, anything over 10 rounds, are
Not a
banned.
clip, it's a magazine. Dr. Bombay,
Exactly.
it's not a clip, it's a magazine.
It's supposed to go to I'm just paraphrasing what they said, and it goes to the governor's desk, which they believe will be signed off on. Personally, I feel like this whole attack, every time some nutcase goes into a school, church, or mall and completely loses control, they punish legal gun owners, by restricting what it is you can't do. Like, for instance, for me to get a 15 round mag in my state, I can't buy it in my state. I can't get it from somebody. I can't give one to somebody here, but I
Right. And
can
you
go
can't bring
out
it
of
in from
town.
another state, can you?
You can. That's what's
Okay.
crazy. I can drive across the state line, buy it, and then bring it back, but I can't, which means I still own it, So meanwhile, like I said, we got these youngsters out here, these yins out here with they got switches on theirs. They gone full auto, but yet they want to tell me, you know what I'm saying, I don't have a right to even begin to level up, which I think that is insane. I mean, what do
Well,
y'all feel about gun laws and the restrictions on legal gun owners?
I hate them. I hate them, and I think they ought to expand the category of people who can own guns legally because, like here in Texas, well, in most places, possession of a very just take this as an example. Possession of a very very small amount of cocaine is a felony in every state in the country, right? Sorry, hang on. Sorry, I had to cough. And the federal government, if you're convicted of even like residue in a baggie of cocaine, right? Cocaine residue in a baggie. You're now a felon in every state in the country. And according to the federal government, because you're a felon, you can never purchase a firearm, you can never possess a firearm. And if they want to, if they find you with one, although it's rare for them to go after you as a standalone offense for possession of a firearm, they can. And really, the way they get you on prohibited possession of a firearm is if you're doing something else that they're going to prosecute you for, like say, conspiracy uh, conspiracy to traffic drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have guns and you're not supposed to have them in the course of, well, if you have guns in the course of a conspiracy to distribute narcotics, your sentence is going to go up anyway. You're going to get extra points for having guns in the commission of that offense. If you're not supposed to have the guns, they're going to charge you not only with extra points for using the guns to further that conspiracy. They're going to charge you as an extra offense because you are not supposed to have firearm. That's how they usually get people who are prohibited for life from having firearms. But it doesn't make sense that we have a nationwide ban essentially by the federal government. You can't purchase firearms, you can't legally own them, for whatever reason, because you had a little bit of cocaine or whatever, and just for life. Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't think that it makes. I don't think most felonies, barring you from having a gun or being able to purchase a gun or possess one for life, is. I don't think it makes sense most of the time.
Yep. It's funny. I was listening to these gun experts, right? One, I was listening to his podcast, and I did have a certain amount of respect to him to a certain degree. And he brought up the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. And then in his commentary, he started saying, well, he was threatened with a skateboard and that was deadly force. And the other person shot at him and that was deadly force. And I had lost respect for this guy because he left out the whole fact of you gave your friend money to purchase the weapon because he was 18 and you were not, and you drove across state lines with this weapon. And I'm like, how do we just like completely ignore that breach? You know what I mean? So like I said, that's back to people believe what they want to believe. The people, in other words, if your leader, if you like the president and the president backed an idea or thought, no matter how illegal it was or immoral it was, for you to just blindly follow, that's my problem with folks. Is that this is what I told back to my VA buddies again. I said, one day I asked him, I said, y'all name one thing that he ever did wrong. And they wouldn't say, no, you're trying to trick me. I said, you are officially in a cult. Man, if you got a leader that don't never do nothing wrong, that's a cult, bro. Come on. All leaders make mistakes to a degree. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that when they bent and twisted that, they were then he was talking about the whole, he started talking about Trayvon Martin. And mind you, y'all, I'm not racially charged in any of this, right? I believe like, hey, look, just tell me the story and don't even mention the names. Just give me the story. So a young man's walking home from the convenience store. He says to the person on the phone, I think somebody's, creeping up on me. The man is told to stand down, do not pursue. You, sir, you are top flight security. You are not Batman. Sit your ass down, right? So then the gun expert was like, well, and then he was told not to follow. But then somehow when he left the truck, the young man, I guess on his way home, must have crossed paths with him again. Okay, now y'all help me understand this. I'm sitting in my truck. I'm facing the road. I'm just making this up for context. You walk past my truck holding the iced tea, some Skittles, and you got your cell phone on, right? You walk past me. Now, how is it that I go to follow you? How do you cross my path again if I'm behind you? You understand? So what I do, I just did a 180 and turned around and went back the other way. So when he said that, I lost even more respect because how he speculated, said, well, he must have like came across him. No, he was pursued. So that's the part where I will talk to anybody, listen to anybody, and I will respect your position and expertise. But when you start just throwing out facts or around here is a lot of that bending and twisting things around to suit a narrative, I can't get with that. And I'm like, no, okay, if I stay still, in other words, there's no way I can follow you from behind and you cross my path because I'm behind you. You would have to physically turn around 180 degrees and go back the opposite way to face me.
Right.
Now, stand your ground law says there, what is that? No flee. I don't, even if you back down after my offense, I'm not obligated to sound like Bro-rilla. I'm obligated. I'm not obligated to stand down. I can keep the attack.
Defend yourself. Defend yourself.
So with that said, I was just like, dude, I can't. I don't like the whole. I think I don't like the whole the bipartisan views of things where they, depending on what side you're on, depending on how you see things. And I think we as a people have that curse now. Like we're like, well, he did this. Oh, well, yeah, he's with us and is right. Well, he did that. Oh man, that's wrong. He should go to jail. No, it's the same offense. Like we can't let these people twist our minds so bad that we're so politically dug in that everything we do has to be depending on what's the source of it. Well, who died? An American citizen got killed on the streets. Well, what was their political affiliation? It don't matter what it was. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to be murdered by the government they pay taxes to. Period.
Well, and speaking of that situation, that was a person pursued by non-law enforcement, being pursued. So what right he got? What right do he have to say about telling this individual to stop and question this person or anything like that? You got no right. I will listen to nobody who's a non-law enforcement trying to tell me what to do and stop me and try to interrogate me. I don't listen to shit you got to say.
That's a
You
Fourth
know,
Amendment violation.
yeah,
Right.
of anything, I'm reaching for my weapon. I'm just being straight up. But I also want to say about when we talk about the gun rights, the Supreme Court has passed 9-0 that they're trying to get rid of the permits and across the United States. Now, still doesn't mean that uh, when you cross in every state line, there's still differences to every state. Some states will require you to have your gun locked up, uh, no bullets in it,
Right.
everything being separate. So I just say, I know me, I cross a lot of state lines sometimes when I'm traveling. It's good to know what their state requirement is, because you can still
Right.
get in trouble. You can still get in trouble with that.
Yeah, because it's funny. Maryland has no reciprocity rules when it comes to carry. So Maryland doesn't recognize any other state, which I think is foul. Because I literally, I can leave my state and ride through Virginia into North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way Georgia to Florida. I can't go to Delaware. I can't go north. Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York. What's up? Rhode Island. I got to go all the way up to Maine and what's that other state? New Hampshire. Before it's reciprocity. So what you're saying is, like I say, the Supreme Court is trying to make it where, guess what? Everybody can go everywhere, but again, there's still rules. Like they'll tell you, you got to be over 21.
Yes,
You
do that.
can't ever have been denied in the past for ownership. You gotta pass, maybe the safety thing for ownership.
Facts.
That whole part.
Facts.
So it's not like it's gonna be the Wild West, because I hear that people say, like here in Baltimore, that I say, man, everybody should be able to open carry, and the people, oh, it would be anarchy in the streets. I said, dude,
no,
it wouldn't.
It's like that here in this state. You don't. It's an open carry. You used to have to get a permit here, but you don't have to have that anymore.
Yeah.
So it took the people to break it down about the Second Amendment and what the forefathers did for the Second Amendment when they created the Second Amendment. They didn't talk about a permit at that time. During that time, I know that's back in the days, but they was talking about how it is to try to deter people from actually owning a gun when they go to putting all these permits in and things of that nature. So Supreme Court has ruled on that. Now you don't need that. Well, that was here in Georgia. It been a state law that you don't have to have a permit. It's open carry here, opposed to going in schools and churches and things of that nature. So you can't carry that in those places. But anywhere else, yeah, you can. And courthouses, stuff like that. Yeah. Other than that, no, you're free to walk. Free to walk around with your gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's another. Go ahead, Steph.
I have just personal feelings about open carry. I don't think it should be permitted. I don't think you should have to have a license. I think it should be legal. But for me personally, I don't, because I feel like if there's going to be trouble, I don't want to signal to anyone that I have a gun, because it would make, I think, if somebody really wants to, have a lot of, they want to they want to have the maximum amount of violence that they can. I think they might take out the people they see have a gun first. So I think me personally, I conceal.
It's funny. That's where I was going next with the whole argument of open versus closed, concealed. And it's funny you said that when she says that, when they come in, they'll make you a target. statistically, right? Well, I ain't gonna go into that because look, I'm gonna tell anybody, do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Statistically, now whatever I've heard the flip side of that argument. I've heard people say, yeah, when the man is in Target and you can see it's on his hip, people feel like, ooh, they'll tell a person, I feel a lot safer that you're here. I'm glad you're here. I ain't got to worry about these nutcases. You know what I mean? So, but then there's the flip side of that also is I can argue it from both sides. I just tell people, that's why I said do what you feel, because some people say, well, also somebody could take it off you. You know what I mean?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's I was going there next.
Yeah,
yes.
You got to have a resistant holster. And let me tell you how to remedy that, y'all. If y'all worried about, first of all, you got to have that holster. You got to have the extra resistance. The thing is though, if you start adding on like 3 levels of resistance, all of a sudden now you cannot react in a split second.
Right.
But let me tell you, for those that want to open carry, let me tell you how you deal with the whole. What if the gangbanger snatches it? Guess what? That's what your concealed gun is for. That's the second. that's to protect the open one. You know what I mean? So you just keep an extra one in the dip. You know what I mean? So he snatched that one, bop, gotta go. You know what I mean? So but you got to be careful with all of that, though. But I would say it depends on where you go. If you go to church, maybe not open carry, right? Maybe you want to consider if you're at Ace Hardware store, you know, maybe it's on your hip. You got to gauge what, you know, you at Chuck E. Cheese with your 7-year-old. You might want to put that thing away. You know what I'm saying? Keep it under wraps. You know, it's a time and a place, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I also have my, my sharp pointy thing too that that I think if I had to reach for something, it's going to be my knife. Like that's because I'm going to have to, the reaction time is going to be longer with my gun instead of my knife, and knives, they get too close to me, like I am going to be able to knife them faster than I can shoot them.
Oh, well, a brother of a certain age said that the law enforcement agencies in his town have completely rid the whole town of crime, and he no longer needs to carry. He leaves it home in the box. Wow.
Hey.
How did they do it?
Good for him. Good for him.
There you is out with your lady.
Good for him. Good for him.
Hey, before my car, why don't y'all come, man? Follow me, holding my driveway, right? Kick my door, and then I'll give y'all the key.
but you know one thing though, T.M.K. You know one thing though. I don't think that way like that. I mean, like, okay, having a gun and you carrying a gun, I don't think about like, oh, I'm gonna use, what if I have to use this gun today or anything like that. I don't think like that, bro. I don't.
It's just day and case. It's like another part.
There you go. There you go.
Bro, I'm just clowning. You know.
I know y'all. And I have taken criticism sometimes because, especially when I'm in my truck, I just will leave it in my truck sometimes. I may run in the store or may go do a little shopping here and there, and I don't always just have it glued on me like that. So it just depends,
Are shootings more in states with open carry? You know what's funny? So I saw somebody try to argue the point saying that because everybody's walking around that these incidents will increase. Actually, statistically, I just looked this up. It's either the crime rate stays the same or it goes down in jurisdictions where the laws are like that. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, it stays the same would be a knucklehead going to be a knucklehead. Goes down would be like if they suddenly announce in my city everybody can open carry or everybody can have it on you. I guarantee you now the carjackings are going to curve a little bit because now they're like, yo, what if we knock on the wrong window and we just catch a face full of lead, So I don't know. You know what I mean? Definitely building more jails don't work. You know what I'm saying? So at least give the citizens a fighting chance. I couldn't believe that it was ever there's any restrictions anywhere. It should be to me, if you're found of sound mind and body, that if you can own, it can go where you go. And that would be me. I don't now they got restrictions. Now it's like no, they no federal buildings, no schools, which is where you would need it.
Yeah.
No state parks. I mean, it's like they keep stomping on the Second Amendment. Now they want to say the amount you got in the magazine. Well, the forefathers had muskets and that, man, bro, they weren't. That wasn't the point. The point was arm yourself. No, who thought in 1742 that or whatever? Who thought that technology would stay the same for all time? Have you ever heard of an
Facts.
amendment? An amendment, something that allowed you to
Yeah.
update or change the
Yeah.
document.
Right.
That's true.
We also don't wear white wigs in court. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But goddamn, let's do that too.
And
So
Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, several of the founding fathers were, either scientists, amateur scientists, or like maybe not as a career, but they had an interest in that. So,
yeah.
and Benjamin Franklin was an inventor, so there's no way they thought like, oh, the musket is the best it's ever going to be. No way.
And shit, they was dueling on the White House lawn. I mean, come on, these people, shit.
Yeah.
Y'all
Who
know
was
that?
that?
Yeah,
Who was that? William
Hamilton.
Burr. William Burr, right?
Oh, that was Burr. I thought it was Hamilton. I don't know what.
It could have
Aaron
been.
Burr and Alexander Hamilton, but they dueled in New Jersey, I think.
Yeah, but hey, look, they got it on.
Yeah, they did.
You know what? I was looking at it was this an excellent miniseries. I loved it, called The Gray House. I love that, man. And the dude, them dudes, man. I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I'd have been a punk back in the day, because with that old when that man said, "Hey, look, man, no hard feelings. What happened this time?" He slapped him back. My family honor's on the line. I need a duel. I'm like, God damn. Now I saw the one on the New Roots, where they would just, they did traditional duel, 10 paces, you turn around, you get a shot, I get a shot. You get a shot, we flip a coin. I've seen it where it's 10 paces, turn around, and boom, you get one shot. These dudes was on horses. They would ride to the end of the post, circle back around, and just bop, bop, get a shot at each other till one of y'all either fall or yield, And I'm sitting there saying, God damn, you insult a dude. He like, I got to see you outside. Y'all talking about running a fade. Man, shit, they was running the fragments of them bullets. They wasn't playing.
That was a fade. That was a fade then, man. They ran those fades back then.
And the dude,
they ran the fade.
Because he insulted the Irish dude, then he was like, he basically told him, I'd rather eat with one of the ninjas than eat with your Irish ass. And then he said, he's like, I need that, man. You gotta see me out in the field, And the Irishman made him yield, because he hit him, he hit him. About that third ball burn, dude was like, I yield, man. He bleeding all out his stomach and everything, man. I'm telling you, that shit, insane.
Yeah. It's not. We don't think about it because obviously it doesn't happen in our time, and I don't think these were recorded very much in history. But a lot of duels ended with both people firing in the air, and they both lived. Because the point was that you went out there and you showed that you were like semi-willing to do it, but then it was more gentlemanly to fire in the air essentially. But you didn't know if the other guy was going to do it or not. So hopefully you both would. But it's sort of like a prisoner's dilemma, right? Like, do I save myself? Do I hope that the other guy is going to do the right thing? So, but a lot of duels ended with just both firing in the air.
Okay. So what Stephanie is saying is that I need to stop watching so much goddamn television and get into reality. Thanks, Steph, for that. Can you stop watching this TV fiction and find out what really? But no, it's funny because that you said that, because on the Gray House, the man said, okay, gentlemen, you're both here. And they both had selected the pistols. He said, the honor has been satisfied. You're both here. We could just agree to go head on. No, I'm going to have the duel. The young buck was like, nah, he wanted to do it. But yeah, you're right. They do that where they say, they offered that. They said, well, it's been satisfied. Y'all both here. You show you're both men, and let's go on about our business, But I can't imagine something like that in this day and time. That would be bananas. But yeah, that solves a lot of issues. Like I said, I would have been a punk because I wouldn't be out there with that nonsense. Not over an insult. Hell no.
Before Alexander Hamilton died in his duel, he actually lost a son to a duel. That was basically because of Alexander Hamilton. Like, his son felt like this dude had insulted his father, and so he challenged him, and Alexander Hamilton, his father was like, fire in the air, fire in the air, fire in the air. And I think he might have, but the other guy didn't. They killed him. Either way, like, even if he didn't fire, even if he fired at the guy, he got killed, Alexander Hamilton's son. So, and then it's kind of ironic that, his father went on to get killed in a duel as well. Just interesting.
Wow. Amazing. Well,
Well,
we don't want to do it.
TMK.
We just go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, well, I come up here. You had an open topic up here, so I come up here and chime in on what you was talking about and things of that nature. So I'm gonna get ready to step on down here, and but keep your eye on that though. If you about the president proving that the state of Georgia was stolen from him. So because he's giving Fonnie Willis hell down here. So she's about ready to throw in the white towel, and I don't think she's gonna make it. But we'll let this thing unfold, and we'll see what happens.
Is
Yeah,
she the
no doubt.
mayor?
No,
Oh,
district
the attorney
attorney,
general. Okay, attorney general. Yeah,
district
or
attorney.
district attorney. Okay, okay, right. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So we'll see how that unfolds. So, but it was my pleasure, TMK. I know I hadn't visited your show in a while, so I thought I'd come up and make my presence
So,
be known.
so
So
you
I
got a
didn't want you to.
hall. You
Now I
got a
didn't want
hall
you to.
pass.
Yeah, I didn't want you to. I didn't want you to dedicate a show to me and start talking about me.
Yeah, nah, it's 2026. I know you got a hall pass. I know homegirl internet always says she can't. What they don't see, they don't know.
All right, brother. I'm gonna go and maybe someone else want to come up here and talk about something else. So
Oh
I'll
yeah,
get at
yeah,
you later, man.
yeah. Because they
All
not
right.
coming because you head. No, I'm just joking, B. Man, thanks for coming through and helping me out because I ain't had nothing to talk about. Thanks for coming through.
All right, bro. Peace
All right,
out.
take it easy, kid.
Yep.
Now that all the Trump supporters are gone, no, I'm just joking. But
Yeah.
nah, man. See, y'all, these are those topics. These are the things we don't get to talk about, or nobody cares about. I got the Ocean 11s in the house. That's all I care about. I get my 11 folks up in here. I'm good with that. It makes me feel like I accomplished something today. And everybody at least peeks their head in to come through. I do the same thing, y'all. Sometimes I peek into your boring live and I dip out in 10 seconds and you never see me again. But I appreciate, though, you gave me the view and it means something to me. But yeah, y'all. Hey, look, what I'm saying is the theme of tonight's topic is basically like, man, stuff is, first of all, you already got a crime rate. You already got crime. It's real in the field out here. But what I'm trying to tell you is those who are in power, man, they playing some serious games out here. And you don't know what you're going to be facing or what you could possibly be faced because you never really had a serious enemy in your midst. All these things, these problems you see on TV, with people in other countries with the tanks rolling down the street. You don't know nothing about that. I'm not going to preach no doom and gloom. I'm just going to say, train yourself, make sure you can take care of your loved ones, or what have you. And it is. And besides, even with the domestic enemies here, I mean, I live in a city with a super high crime rate. Juveniles off the hook. They not, the leadership in my city too busy buying $7,000 worth of crab cakes, and robbing and pillaging the budget to even do
Right.
something with these juveniles. Now they say, we building a rec center, whatever. When? Now it's like 10 years later. Man, we should have been did that. You got squeegee kids putting guns in people's face. People like, I'm scared to go to the city. Down by the harbor, folks is moving out. The tax base is shrinking. They leaving. Businesses folding up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to live like this, all because
Right.
they want to keep these youngins on the school rolls. And by the way, we got the lowest reading average in the whole entire nation.
Is that
My
right?
mom, my mom is retired. She works in the school. Don't ask me why, but she's there. She says, man, it's kids in here, man, third grade, can't even write their name. Yo. Steph, wasn't that the first thing, even before you learned the ABCs, didn't your parents teach you how to write Stephanie on a sheet of paper? Like, you didn't know, you might not even knew what the letters was, but you knew that was your name,
Yeah.
but that's insane.
I don't remember what I first learned to do. Like as far as writing, I watched a lot of Sesame Street, and
Yeah.
Sesame Street was really, really important to a lot of kids who were not from elite type families. And it really did. Yeah, that kind of learning. It really did do a lot. They did a survey of kids in sort of more disenfranchised backgrounds, and the kids who watched Sesame Street, it really improved like their kindergarten performance, and all through elementary school. I think it was really, really important. Unfortunately, I think they dumbed Sesame Street down a lot. Now it's basically Elmo. And but back when like it was in the 70s and 80s, like it was real, and I think that helped a lot. I mean, I watched a ton of Sesame Street, so I knew my letters and my numbers, you know, pretty young because of that. But I don't remember. I don't remember learning to write my name. I mean, sure I did before even kindergarten. I'm sure.
I I learned how to read and write. My mom taught me before I went in school. As a matter of fact, they turned me down for entry because they said I was too young. By the time I was 4, I tried to get in. They said, "Nah, he's too young. He can't get in here." And then I
Right?
caught on with Sesame Street, Electric Company, all of those shows, Vila Alegre. That's in Spanish. I was like, man, I was learning different languages, Sesame Street, letters, numbers, how to count, concepts of life, all of that.
Yeah.
Bob and Maria got married, you know what I'm saying? What I
Yeah.
mean, Maria and Luis, you know what I'm saying? My
Marianne
first
Louise.
crush,
And they
my
talked
first
about being
crush.
yeah, yeah, for real.
Yeah,
um and they talked about being from another place, on the Christmas episode when it was snowing. They talked about how they were from a place where it hardly ever snowed. I can't remember if they were Puerto Rican or Cuban. But
word.
they talked about how they grew up in a different environment and Christmas was always so different. So you're learning about like people who've immigrated, right? And like people who've moved, and they didn't grow up in the same place. And, and then was it Mr. Peabody who died? Like in real
Mr.
life. And so
Mr.
the character
Mr.
had to die.
Luther.
And Looper. That's right.
Mr.
Mr.
Looper
Looper.
died, and they
Yeah.
talked about death, and they were just
Death.
like,
Yep.
man, Big Bird didn't understand it. Yo,
Right.
if you watch that scene, it's still powerful to this day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, and shout out to Luther Vandross, who was on the very first episode of Sesame Street,
Right.
1969. Y'all gotta check it. And all the celebrities. We ain't even gonna talk. Richard Pryor, Patti LaBelle, everybody was on there.
Yep.
Welcome to
Yep.
the stage,
Hey,
Raw
Robbie.
G herself with the animation.
Hey, how you doing?
She gonna take us to school. She taking us to school, y'all. I can't wait.
No, honestly, I just really came up here to say, hey, like I want to support the
Cool.
boring sector, especially since so many people from other sectors are so negative.
I appreciate that. I do.
For real.
Yeah, because you are a perpetrator of adult conversations, and we need more of that. Instead of us sitting around talking about what we don't want, we decided, like I think Josie said it earlier. We just wanted to do something else. We was talking about doing something else, and now we're doing it. Leave us alone, and, and that was cool, because sometimes you just want to take off your shoes, and then just turn the lights down, pour a glass of Merlot. You know what I mean? And just had that adult conversation. And then we can get to the other side and trip and deal in the effery when we get ready,
Exactly, but some people thrive on that. They need that like every day, all day
Yeah,
long.
that's a drug, man. That's a drug. That's an addiction.
That's a lack of a hobby.
Of a who?
Of a hobby.
Yeah, a hobby? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really think about it.
I think you're right.
Yeah, if you're getting enjoyment out of life, you're not seeking like that dopamine rush from the bullshit because you're actually going out and doing the things that you enjoy.
Exactly. I did my I lead a hiking group. I did the first one of the year because I took like well, you might as well say 2 months off. And man, oh my God, it was exhilarating. Like being out in the woods, breathing it in. I even fell, hit a sticker bush. Yo, it was crazy. I hit some leaves. It was like a whole pile of mud. And I ain't never fell on a trail, you know what I mean? But I got scratches on my neck, but I still, man, I wouldn't trade it. I'd do it all over again because it's something about plugging back into nature, And you're right. because it's like, and I don't know, most people ain't going to admit this, but like I said, when I look at the cell phone and you scroll, then you keep scrolling and you scrolling and you go from Facebook to Instagram to Reddit to YouTube to Facebook to Instagram to Reddit. And after a while, 2 hours done went by. And I told myself, I said, man, you got to put that phone down, start reading some books again. One of my friends, he just wrote a series of books, you know. He just sent me a thing. He said, man, I ordered you 4 of my books. Like, he paid for them, sent them to me. So I'm like, at night, I put the phone down and read so I can get them delta waves kicked up and get to sleep. Now, my loved ones be like, how do you fall asleep in 10 seconds? I'm like, yo, when your body's tired and when you read, you know, you just align yourself. Your body is ready. It's not looking for that next rush. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, who just went live? It's not looking for that. It's like,
Right.
it's bedtime. It's time to go, you know?
I used to get so sleepy, I'd drop my book on my face.
That's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
as ever.
Word. So, yeah, but see, the thing is, the problem, and I've said this in the past, the problem with if your fix is the negativity, you run out of the negativity runs out. I mean, who's going to make a mistake next or say something that they can be clowned for tomorrow? Like, it's not happening enough. You can't feed the need. It'll get so bad where you got to go back 4 years and pull something negative, or you got to go to another section of BlackTube where you don't even know people. Just, hey, I don't know none of y'all. I don't know none of your stories, but I'm just here for the carnage. Who y'all dragging? How you doing? I can send a cash app. You know what I mean? So but it'll, that thing inside you will never tell you, hey, you have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, the crack pipe ain't never going to tell you, hey, man, put me down and go get a job. Stop playing. Stop selling your kids toys. You know what I mean? It's never going to do that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, Richard Pryor said the pipe was telling him the opposite. You know, don't put me down here. It's very hard to get one of me at 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, again, you know, matter of fact, most of the dialogue here, we don't even think about it. We'll look up an hour and a half, 2 hours and went by, and we like, damn, what were we, you know, what were the other people doing? Now, today, Josie put on a show where it was like kind of a non-boring topic, but it was I found it very fruitful. I like when people do the diagnosis and break things down and all of that stuff there, you know, and she's entertaining too. So I like it when she flips to the regular content. I'm looking forward to seeing the show with her. And man, I'm gonna tell you something. This long COVID tore me up. Boy, I got a memory of a goldfish. You know what I mean? I don't know what's his name, y'all. Come on, say his name. What is it?
Last call?
Last call. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, last call. Yeah, you
Boy,
are
I'm horrible.
silly.
Short term. I can tell you what I had for lunch on August 4th, 1973, and what dessert I had, but I swear to God, I can't tell you, you know, what sock drawer I took my socks out this morning. You know, I can't tell you that. You know what I mean?
That's
so
crazy.
It's wild.
Do you remember what kind of ice cream you were going to go get for that night?
You know, it was butter pecan, and I thought we weren't going to talk about that. I left my girlfriend in the dorm room, and Steph, you know, was her roommate. And I mean, no, Steph was visiting me, and let's just say when I came back, she had convinced her to seek a new way of life.
Oh well,
Mr. City Girl.
It's all good.
She brought the caramel sauce. Listen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, why the door locked? What y'all doing? Anyway, so we make up these little fantasies, but now with my thing, I think in my own life, I think my memory, it's not I got a bad memory. It's just that, yo, you ever like do the same thing so much, like you get up, you make breakfast, you exercise, shower, go to work, do the same job, come home, you pull up in the driveway at the exact same time, get out, take your shoes off exact same time, start making dinner, blah, blah, blah. And you get
and then you barely remember doing it?
It's the same thing over and over and over, to the point I'll be like, man, I'll be looking around like, yo, did I do this then? Or did I, you know, I'm leaving myself notes. I'm like, that's when I realize it's like, I know I'm close to a vacation, which is next month. So I know I'm close to vacation, or when we travel, it's like, I said, we need a 4-day weekend. We need to plug in one. You know what I mean? Because I call it a rut when you start doing the same thing, and it feel like you're in Groundhog's Day and it's the same day over and over. You know what I mean? So But I will give it, that's why this thing here, this tool comes in handy. Sometimes you just turn it on and you go, okay, somebody doing something. But the problem is, if it's the same content with the same people and the same thing, then it becomes part of the problem, because it's like, yo, am I still in 2022? Because this is the show I saw in 2022. No, it's 2026, but they're doing the same topic from 2022. So then, it just increases the problem. So I'm like, let's come on here and do some boring stuff. I might repeat myself, I might not. But Iran was the thing. We talked about that. We talked about some gun rights, gun control, all this other stuff. And who knows? I might repeat myself on the next show, but at least it'll be some new current events, which is why we call them that, current events. Because there's always going to be something in the news, And I guess what we should do is just look beyond our living room to find things to talk about.
Man, listen, you should be joining in my members. We had us a good little conversation this afternoon. We're going to continue it next Saturday. It was fun.
Oh, who I like when you and don't, please forgive me if I say her name, Mama Oya?
Lola,
What's her name? What's her name? She got no, not Lola. Is it Lola? Is that her real name? The one
Miss
from
Oshun.
Oshun. I knew it was one of the goddesses. I couldn't read, man. I knew it was one of the goddesses, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, I like y'all conversations. I'll be sitting there going, whoo, the sister's going in, you know what I mean? But I don't dare get up on the panel.
Why?
I don't want to get sprayed. No, I'm just joking.
We don't bite. We don't bite.
I know how to handle it. Just like, yo, just nod and smile. Nod and smile. Beautiful.
Listen, they try to have this misconception out here that I'm the bad guy. I'm really not. Like, I'm super chill, but if you cross a line, then we got to talk about a couple things. But other than that, I'll just be minding my business, honey.
Yeah. You ask them questions. I'll be like Admiral Akbar in Star Wars. It's a trap. It's a trap. And then they answer the question. So what you saying is, I'm like, yo, this is the part where you tell her you going through a tunnel and just sign out the room because it's about to start up. She gonna hit you with the intellect. You better be ready. Like, don't just say something willy nilly, because she gonna take you to court, on the subject. So like I said, be ready. But I do respect you, though, because you do respect other people's opinions. Like, if I start out with, in my opinion, then you'll say, oh yeah, well, that was your opinion. And then you'll give yours, you know what I'm saying? Where, some people can't let that, they like, nope, I gotta change your religion, your culture, your identity. I just gotta beat you into submission. You're not like that. But if somebody comes at you making a claim, then you're gonna say, all right, well, let me get out my reference materials.
Right. Let's look it down to forensics. Like, I got into a thing with someone about civil disobedience, and it was the weirdest conversation I ever had in my life, because they believe that civil disobedience can't be violent. And I'm like, who told you that?
They said it can't be, or what was
it can't be. And then they said that Mahatma Gandhi was the creator of civil disobedience, which he wasn't. It was Thoreau. Also, Gandhi is a nonconformist and a pacifist, but he served in the British Army, and he didn't even like Black people. So to sit there and give him credit for a movement that was built upon the freeing of slaves is insane to me.
Don't know much about history.
Don't
know much about biology. I'm the first one to tell you if I don't know something. I just don't. I find that personal life experience is the only thing I'm an expert on. I only know what I did. I remember one time we were having a intellectual conversation, and I started talking about my life, and it was like a whole lot of opposition. I'm like, well, damn, this is just my perspective. I can't say for all. I don't know statistically. We talk a lot of numbers. I'm not up on statistics, so I'm always open to listen. But my biggest thing is, like, what kind of change can I bring forth? What can I do to make it better? Which is where I stand. So when we talk about, I like to talk mostly to the brothers, and usually the older brothers. And I'm like, look, okay, at the end of the day, what are we doing to leave the world a better place for these grandkids than what we found it? At the end of the day, all of the cars and the jewelry and the money and all that, the slick talk on here, I use the latest slang. At the end of the day, it's like, well, what are we really doing as men? You know what I mean? So Then of course the attack. But you made some diss songs and I'm like, bro, I'm going to do that. I mean, but it's not all that I do. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's nothing wrong. I've been saying this since 2020 on here. It's like people keep saying, Lato kept saying, he's telling us to change. I kept saying, no, we just need balance. We need the yin and the yang. That's all I ever said. Now we got a whole lot of the yang, and people's having problems with that adjusting. Well, we had too much yin, so now we might be out of balance the other way, but I'd rather have it this way. I'd rather it be mostly boring than mostly, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get cussed out on the daily. So here we are, and everybody has a channel on the microphone, and you can go to your channels and do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Bottom line. Because I don't ever want to give the impression that I'm telling somebody, like, do something different. Because I found myself, it's like, why are you speaking to a group? This is me talking to myself because I'm schizophrenic. Why are you talking to a group of people, telling them, even the notion of saying, hey, guys, we should have more balance? You're wasting your time. Just go to your channel and be the balance. Like, stop trying. These people, they're not going to. Whatever folks are is who they are, just do the thing. And you never know. It might be 3 other people that was scared to bring their messages out, and now they're going to do it. So I guess that's how movements start,
Exactly. And that's why, I'm going to say it everywhere I go. F everybody else. Do whatever you want to do on social media. Can't nobody do nothing to you.
Exactly.
They can have an attitude for sure, but like, what is that? What are they really going to do? Just come on social media and cry and complain? Like, these people really feel like they have entirely too much power. And I find it unfortunate, everything that everybody went through with certain people in this space. That was just pure dirty. Y'all needed me to be in your space back then because I would have taught you how to fight back equally as dirty, double as deep, honey. Because no, like, this is so, it's insane. Like, people let their ego predicate how they move in social spaces because they just can't take that someone does not agree with them.
Yeah, I think 2 truths can exist in the same space at the same time at some time. You're right. You hit it square on the head with the thing ego. My ego tells me I have 60 friends. My intellect tells me that these 60 people are imaginary. I've never met any of them. I don't know them. I've never had dinner with them. I don't know them. So it's like you can live in that world if you believe you have 60 friends online. But and it's nothing wrong with having a following. But I would say don't make it all. Remember, you have kids in the real world and grandkids and moms and dads, and turn this damn thing off sometimes, just turn it off.
Exactly. Even a good old fashioned doxing, which I hear a lot of people that have been saying a lot of slick stuff have been out here doing that. If you're living your truth and you're not out here frauding about who you are, how can somebody embarrass you with something in your history?
Wow. Deep. That I thought about that. I'm like, damn, what could you possibly expose? Well, you're right. If I'm on here saying I'm flawless, I never made a mistake, that's why a lot of times in my lives I use myself as the example.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm not perfect. I do not have a flawless history. My kids are not flawless. You look, you're gonna find these things, and they act like, well, if I give my opinion on something, then you got to dissect and take me apart because I gave my opinion that you didn't agree with. So now you got to go look up my whole family history to find something wrong. Hey, look, as a parent, I will say this. As a younger parent, I made a lot of mistakes. As I grew, I did better. Most of the kids turned out okay, and if you know anybody that's a parent, you're going to know your kids are going to fall down and make mistakes. They've been doing it since they were toddlers. And no matter how much of a pristine example you are, what you set, guess what? Your son is going to still believe he can be a producer and a rapper, even though the boy done went to college, you done paid $60,000 out of pocket. That didn't happen to me, y'all. I'm just saying, for example. But he wants to be a rapper. What you going to do? You know what I mean? You say, all right, go ahead. I mean, I use the same analogy every time. You got the 3 kids, you say the pot is hot. One of them got to touch the pot, man. So go ahead on now. When you 35 and you don't wasted 10 years, I'm still going to love you anyway. How'd it work out, son? Now, if you pop up and be like, Dad, your Bentley's outside. Son, I knew you could do it. I knew you had it in you. You know what I mean? If you pop up here with 3 baby mamas and you 35 now, boy, I told your ass to stay in that school and go down there and get that job. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, again, but that's the whole thing is like who can shame who? We all made mistakes. You know what I mean? I know I'm not flawless, and I say that every time. And I always tell people, if you dox me, can you please pay one of these mortgages? God damn, just pay something off when you go in there. You know what I mean? Look up my stuff, be like, damn, he owed $22,500 on that one. You just go ahead and write that check because you're rich and successful. And obviously I'm not. You're better than me. To go ahead on and just pay that off, man. Say, hey, man, I paid off your mortgage, your broke ass. I'll be like, thank you. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Fix something in there. Help me find some of my relatives. I'm doing a lot of the genealogy. I'm looking for a few people. Maybe you can pull up some slave records or something. Help a brother out.
Right. And it's crazy
Anyway.
because you see all the years they doxed me, they ain't never found shit either. And that's the part that's also funny. If you don't got shit that you hiding, like, wait, what's the tea? Like,
yeah, shit. Man, we all real people in the real world. We all did things, you know. Some of us got evicted, some of us lost jobs, some of us had failed relationships, some of us had kids out of wedlock, kids in wedlock in a bad marriage, some of us had a divorce. It's called life. I mean,
right.
hell, shit. If you standing here 45 plus and tell me you ain't never had nothing happen, I'm like, damn, you missing out. You born, bro. You ain't never had to stretch that food. You ain't never had to get a cold cut it 5 ways for your kids. Hey, look. sometimes shit was rough. We had to make do. You know what I mean? Sometimes things happen. I mean, but that it builds character. It's like if you had a life where you just nothing, it was so uneventful, nothing ever went wrong. Man, kudos for you. But I say you missed out on something. That's why I'm always happy with my childhood. When we used to go walking on, we used to go on tour. You know, me and my buddy, we used to call it dumpster dive, and we would go different places, explore vacant houses, looking for stuff all the time. And we going through the white neighborhoods. I'm looking like, man, I bet they get living good. I bet they, you know, I'm thinking like they the Brady Bunch, not realizing, man, my childhood was totally lit. Like, man, I wouldn't trade it for $1 million, man, for everything, the good and the bad, just the experiences of it. You know what I mean? Even though my kids were boring, but you know. I wouldn't. I think it made me who I am for real. You know, I would have took some of the stuff them folks had. Like I did want a grand piano, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean,
everything that looked good, right? But everything that looked good ain't good for you. That's another thing people got to understand too. When you understand what is for you is for you, then your life gets a whole lot better. What's that song, T.M.K? I know you know the song. Sing it with me now. And life is worth the living just because he lives. Y'all don't have the right chorus to be living for. See, it's Sunday, but I don't want to take y'all to church.
Yeah, it like now it's like, well, if I have to go without something, I'm good with that. Like I've done it before, so it's not really a big deal. It's like, hey. You know, well, it's a whole Buddhist parable to go with that, but I ain't gonna go all into that. But I'm just saying, like, if I get, I practice.
That's dope.
If I get, yeah, I was called all kind of fake gurus on here. See, when you try to get positive, people call you names, and then if you get negative, they call you a hypocrite. But I learned just stop listening to people. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, you just reminded me. I have a whole nother channel based on that. I'm trying. See, here's the thing. I want to get back into doing that content, but I told myself, and I'm honest with myself. I said, man, since the pandemic, I'm like, man, it's been some struggles. You know what I mean? I said, I want to be in the right frame of mind. I don't want to be some person on YouTube that just I get the chat GPT to write some things. I start slapping stuff together, and I don't mean it. You know, I want it to be real. So I said, let me straighten get some couple of things together with my own person. And then I get back to that. So right now we're embarking on the shift, you know. All last year we did a lot of content. I tried, you know, my attempts at humor, taking some of the daily narratives and turning it into humor. But I decided this year we want to make the message more universal, you know, because if I make a whole song and spend hours doing it, nobody really knows, you know, it's only for a select audience because I can't play it somewhere else. They're not going to understand. Like when I heard your song, I don't know who it's about. I just like the song. You know what I mean? I could play that anywhere. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to do. Because don't nobody know these 30 or 40 people. No disrespect to y'all, love all y'all, but nobody knows the 30 or 40 people here. You know, I want to be able to put it on the channel and say, yo, I did this, you know, and somebody say, oh, that's nice, or it's whack. You know what I mean? But at least it's universal. So we trying to shift. I'm just trying to shift the message a little different. So, you know, I came on here, like I said, impromptu, didn't plan anything. I said, I'm just going to get on there and start talking and see what happens. And here we are an hour and 45 minutes later. Uh-oh, I done missed the dinner time, but try not to eat after 7. Try not to eat after 7, y'all, but I'm going to work out. So I guess spend an extra 10 minutes on the treadmill to get it on because some contractors coming here tomorrow to cut out some walls. I'm kind of mad about that. I told y'all my little water heater went up. I knew it was going up too, y'all. Just being a man instead of just going to Lowe's and spending the money. Now I had an inch of water, had to dry everything out. Now they want to come here cutting up drywalls and got to put this in, getting dust all over every damn thing. Can't work out because they in there tearing stuff up. But hey, you know, being a man. Matter of fact, I was talking about that to my boys, the sons. And I keep saying, man, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, man. Y'all need to listen to your ladies, man. Listen to your ladies. Cause I said, a lot of times your wife is running her mouth and you thinking she running her mouth, but she giving you wisdom. You just tuning it out because you trying to be a man. Like I see these boys sometimes, they'll go getting in something. I say, hey, that's gonna cost you some money, man. You might want, why don't you just go ahead and, hey there, y'all hear you, man. All right, your guy go. And their wives will say the same thing, babe. Why don't we just go ahead and get the new one and in 3 months, put the money down? And they ain't listening. So they dump all the money into something. Then it blow up. Then they be sitting there like, damn. I'm like, yo, listen to your lady, man. A lot of time, matter of fact, most of the time, she got this insight because we as men, we want to, you know, beat the machine. We want to force the square peg into the round hole. And your wife is trying to tell you, think about it. You know what I mean? Because I've heard, you know, over the years, I've heard that, you know, you sure that's a lot of money. You know, I'm like, first I was like, man, she just don't want me to have none. See, I ain't say that. Well, she bought them Jimmy Choos and spent $800. See, you all in your mind angry. And I just say, wait a minute. Next thing you know, she like, yo, that joint is 40% off. Boom. Who knew? Yeah, well, the woman knew because she keep track of the sales. It's Black Friday. Now you can go down there and get that same big ass, ugly ass television you didn't need at 40% off. You know what I mean? So I try to tune into the sisters and listen. Now around here, and on BlackTube, I noticed
between the Normandy and Weston.
Yeah, yep, at Normandy and Weston. By the way, y'all, them streets do not cross. But anyway, that is cool. That's a nice reference though. But it's the 20-twin. But
Ninja.
That's the way we do it down here at the First Ebenezer Tree of Life, Double Rock Institutional on the side of the road to Jericho Missionary Baptist Church of Zion. Did I say Mount Calvary? Y'all don't hear me.
Amen.
So a lot of, look, I'm gonna tell you, you know this truth, right? A lot of the sisters around here, these sisters is like all degreed up. They got careers. They got brains. I mean, I ain't say this out loud, but some of y'all got some of the sexiest brains I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I'm a brain person. So shout out to Condoleezza Rice. Sexiest brain probably in the Northern Hemisphere.
Very intelligent woman.
And they kept clowning about she need a perm. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm segueing. Yo, I done went back in the time machine. Boy, I was so angry when I heard that. I say, yo, you got a black woman from your group, she has a higher IQ than everybody in the government at that time. She broke down them Russian dignitaries, tore their asses up in their own language and their own dialect from their own neighborhood. And you mean to tell me she got to put a perm in her hair? Just to me, one time she did straighten it, she flattened it out one time. It was like, sister, I hope you ain't fall to the pressure. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it's a lot of women on here, yo, that's deep, intelligent. And I started saying something a couple years ago. I was like, yo, why y'all keep attacking the women? Why y'all keep jumping in the middle of women business, stirring up fights and stuff? It's almost like you don't want them to shine. Like you don't want them to like really, because you know they could take over. You know what I mean? So I try not to do that, get in the middle of the women. When women, if they get to fighting, it's just what they doing. You know what I mean? I'm not getting, you don't see me sitting up in the panel. Yeah, girl, go ahead, girl, go ahead. And I would talk about that. And I know I would get a little subliminal hate because I would just walk into a chat room, get randomly attacked by some sucker for no reason. I'm like, oh, he must have been mad because I said, and I'm sorry if the shoe fit, bro. If you was up on the panel in the middle of 4 women in their argument, you know what I mean? Where, you know what I mean? I want to hear what the sisters got to say, you know what I mean? Because I like the content. So hopefully we can get back to more of that. I'm tuning in wherever the sisters are speaking to hear what's going on, you know, because I learned that lesson. And yeah, I still want that 69 Camaro, and I don't care if it is 48,000. So I ain't getting that yet. I had to wait for retirement, y'all. I probably had to build it myself, but it's all good though. It'll happen one day. I just can't do it this week.
I know that's right.
You
Listen.
whip. No, I ain't whip. 48,000 go a long way. You know what I mean? Compounded daily at 10.5% interest. Go ahead.
You are so silly. Definitely put your email in the back chat though, so we could get together about some music stuff, you know.
I thought we don't have the emails. Oh, damn it. Do we?
I don't know. You don't never reach out to me, so I don't know.
I don't know. I thought, you know what? I did, I think. Because when I used to do these little weak ass lives, I used to hit you up. It's at 7:30, I think. But let's see. You'll know in 1 second. Once I put this in there, you type it and be like, oh, yeah, it was like 5 years ago.
I know. That's the thing. They don't know that we know each other before.
Oh, they don't. That's right.
I don't think they do. Yeah.
We came from a whole nother sector across the way over there with Derek and V and all them Battle of the Sexes and all that other stuff. All that stuff. Great content, great shows, good people. And it's funny because I still follow them around. And that's another reason why I'm stop saying I keep saying, and another thing, you know, I'm stop doing it. It'll be 9 o'clock. I missed them. That's why I said on 2 shows ago why I had to shift the content, because some of those people who used to come and hang out, they were sitting over here going, sector who? Sector what? What's that? What's this? Who this? Who that? And they didn't know. And they kind of just dipped off a little bit. You'll see them sometimes on the replay, catching the replay, but they're not tuning in because the messages they couldn't relate to. That's like when sometimes I be on the beef side of things and I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I know some of the names, but I'm like, I don't know enough. And then it's just like, I'm like, you know, I tune in. Some of them are really funny. I like a few of them that are funny. I'm all down for some humor, but yeah, so we trying to broaden this audience, make it bigger, you know, get 50, 60 people that can all contribute, you know, from an intelligent mind, and just keep this thing going. So hopefully, but it's hard because sometimes once the emotions, well, you know what though, mature people can get over the emotions and can move past things. Maturity brings that forth, you know, so hopefully. Yeah, so I'm gonna get ready to I guess I better eat something low carb because I went past my 7 o'clock and got to get on the treadmill and lift the weights. Just finally paid off the machines. So life is good. And I still have a gym membership. What's up with that? Oh, because when I travel, I still need to get in. You still got to work out. You still got to exercise. So we keep that going. Okay, I'm babbling at this point. You have any final words that you would like to address before I go eat whatever's upstairs?
No, because I got 5 more minutes before I got to take my chicken out too. It was good stopping by your live. And you know, that's it. Thank you for having me.
Hey, not the docks. You in North Carolina, right?
Arkansas.
Damn it. When you been there the whole time or you moved?
Yeah, I've been here the whole time. I've been in the rock for almost a decade.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I kept thinking North Carolina. Okay, you down south, either way. Mm-hmm. All right. So I was just checking. I was like, I'm trying to see. A
Southern girl.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So yeah, thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. You know, definitely a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
To add, and I will be over at your spot. I'm always in the clouds at work. You know, sometimes I'm like, okay, y'all be making me laugh. I got to mute my phone talking to clients, but it's all good. I enjoy it. And bring more to music. Let's keep that music going. Love creativity. Let's keep it going.
Thank you. And y'all be good.
All right. All right, Rob. Thank you. Oh, she know how to hit her own exit on the way out, y'all. She had to know how to do it. My opinion that Sunny Bunny is still going with this boring darlings add a boring vibe. No doubt it's boring. Hey, I'm thankful to all of y'all. I'm sorry if I didn't catch all of your names. Everybody that came through, man, I really appreciate it. Mount Calvary, Gracie, Mary Trinity, Damascus, Lady of the Valley, Mount Olive, Gethsemane, Bethesda, Free Will Southern Baptist Church of Jones, Oklahoma. I've been to that one too. That's over there with Reverend Tremble. Yeah, he gives a good sermon on the prodigal son. Yeah, man, no doubt. I thank for all of y'all that came through, man. We kept it civil. We clowned a little bit. We laughed. We made a joke of the politics because although it's a very serious topic and it's very serious in nature, and some of it does scare me a little bit, I gotta keep smiling, man, because I understand, like Buddha said, this is because that is. But that statement, while it does explain the present nature of things, it also leaves it's a bit open-ended parable that lets us know that we can also change that which is as well. So it doesn't have to stay this way. So that's what I try to make my premise here, to come here and say, hey, you ever think about it this way? You ever think about it that way? And maybe through the humor and talking about these topics, maybe I shed some light on some things you didn't know. And, people came up on the panel and they shed some light on things that I didn't know. And that's what it's all about, man. All of us walking away with that cup just a little more full. And I leave you with the words of peace and tranquility. Namaste.